We start at 4 o'clock with the extreme heat outside. And if you think it's hot now, wait until tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence. And we actually begin 13 News at 4 with the story that's really impacting all of us. It's this excessive heat.
Yeah, and it's something that we talked about all week long last week. Remember when it was so pleasant and we said, hey, I know it's nice. Hang tight.
You said we'd pay for it.
Yeah, we are, and we're going to pay for it here. So this 13 weather impact alert is for tomorrow and for Wednesday right now, and perhaps we may have to drift this thing into Thursday as well. Now, with all that said, today is hot. It's just more of the drier heat. We're third straight day of 90 plus, and we could warm a couple of more degrees, but thankfully dew points, at least today, are not as bad as they'll be tomorrow. So we'll show you, these are temperatures, 91 in Shelbyville, 90 in Indy, 91 in Brownsburg. As we expand the map, you see Terre Haute's at 93, and let's go a little farther out. We'll show you the heat index numbers. Because the air is relatively dry, the heat indices just about match the temperature, but as we look toward the west, you see 104 in Peoria and Lincoln and Springfield, where the air is much more humid. That's going to be drifting in here over the next 24 hours. And the most humid air tomorrow is most likely going to be positioned across the north and northwestern corner of the state. Excessive heat watch has now been upgraded to a heat advisory for the majority of central Indiana. We do have some counties up across north central that are in excessive heat warning. Either way, that's the area that's probably more likely going to come closer to about 110 for a peak heat index tomorrow. But it doesn't mean we're going to have a day at the beach here across central and southern Indiana either. Between about 2 p.m. 6 p.m., that will be the peak of these numbers that I'm showing you here, from about 100 to 105 locally. And that's when you should consider limiting your outdoor time. So here's when it happens, okay? Noon to 8 tomorrow and Wednesday. Okay, what you should be thinking about if you're a parent with kids on soccer, football teams, those practice times probably are going to be altered. And if you can hydrate as much as you can, CKC as much as you can, and limit your outdoor times. We got to talk about storm chances and some big time relief all ahead in the 7-day outlook.
All right, looking forward to that relief, Sean. So we all know these temperatures can be dangerous. We've heard it before, but the Marion County Health Department says it's worth reminding everybody to take it easy and be extra careful this week because unfortunately, emergency rooms do see people with heat stroke or heat exhaustion when it gets this hot.
This is true. So they are urging you to stay inside in the air conditioning as much as possible. If your home does not have AC, you should go somewhere that does. Limit your outdoor activity to when it's coolest in the day. So you should mow your yard or go for a walk in the morning or the evening.
And pace yourself. Also, cut down on exercise in this heat. So, Felicia, don't do your 4-mile run in the middle of the day.
I'll hold off.
Okay? Drink lots of fluids and check on any neighbors or loved ones to make sure they're doing okay, especially those 65 and older or people in high-risk groups.
And we're going to have more on this, including what some of our local schools are doing about after-school practices and sporting events this week. We got to keep an eye out for the kids. We've got all that coming up at 4:30.
Some of the other headlines now. School leaders in Avon are investigating after they found a gun in a 5th grader's locker this morning.
District officials say another student reported it at Avon Intermediate School East. Emily Longnecker explains what happened and how administrators are dealing with this.
Yeah, district officials tell me the gun was not loaded and the student who had it didn't use it to threaten anyone. Now, if the district knows why the student brought this gun to school, they're not saying. It was discovered early on in the school day after a student on a bus saw a 5th grader with the gun. That student told a friend once they got into school, and that friend told a teacher who alerted school administration.
And they discovered the handgun in the backpack locked inside the child's locker, and of course then immediately contacted Avon Schools Police, who came over and helped to assess the situation, removed the students involved from classrooms so they could get more information.
The district will only say the student was in 5th grade and that the school called the child's parent, who came to the school and picked them up.
So the parent didn't know that their child was coming to school with a weapon. They thought they'd had it secured, and obviously they'll be taking steps to make sure that that this doesn't happen again.
This isn't the first time an Avon student has brought a gun to school. The district says it expelled a high school student last year, barring him from school property after he brought a gun to the high school. No word on what punishment the fifth grader could face, but school policy says bringing a gun to school can lead to a student being suspended for 10 days and expulsion for at least 1 calendar year. The superintendent can reduce the length of that expulsion if circumstances warrant it. District officials say the Hendricks County prosecutor is also looking at the case. At a time when students are growing up with active shooter drills in their schools, the district says they're glad students feel empowered to report a problem like a gun at school when they see it.
We belong to one another, and that we need to have one another's best interests in mind and in heart. And so if you see something concerning, report it immediately. That's the best way to make sure that nothing tragic occurs on our watch.
And the district says it used a messaging app to notify district teachers and parents. At this point, it's still not known what, if any, charges the student could face. In Avon, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Emily, thank you. We're also learning more about a man shot and killed by police last week inside a Lawrence motel room. Indianapolis SWAT officers were serving a warrant Friday morning for Kentrail Small, who they considered to be armed and dangerous. When police got inside the motel room near Pendleton Pike and Post Road, they say there was a struggle and Small reached for a rifle. That's when officers shot and killed him. No one else was hurt. The 2 officers involved are now on administrative leave, which is standard procedure.
Well, today we learned the name of a man found dead on the city's south side over the weekend. IMPD is investigating this as a homicide. Officers say they found 39-year-old John Hamby III dead from traumatic injuries yesterday morning on Pagoda Drive. All of this happened near Garfield Park. IMPD is asking anyone with information to call them. And Richmond police say a 12-year-old has confessed to stealing a woman's car at gunpoint over the weekend. It happened at a car wash Saturday night on National Road. Officers arrived moments later, then got a report of a reckless driver pulling into a nearby apartment complex. And a tip from the community then led to the young suspect, who police say confessed to everything. They think the gun the boy used was a fake, but they have not found it yet. And a major development today in a big criminal case out of southern Indiana. The former sheriff of Clark County agreed to plead guilty to dozens of felony charges.
State police have been investigating Jamie Knoll for over a year now. He's accused of stealing millions of dollars in local funds for his own personal use. Jenny Runovich joins us now with the plea deal and what's next. Jenny?
Well, let's start with the what's next. That's prison time, and a lot of it. So if the judge accepts this plea deal, Jamie Knoll will serve 15 years with 3 years probation. Here's the background on this case. Knoll faced 31 felony charges, including theft, tax evasion, corrupt business practice, ghost employment, and money laundering. Today in court, he changed his plea, now pleading guilty to 27 of those 31 charges. Indiana State Police say the former sheriff used sheriff's office money and fire department credit cards for extravagant personal purchases. And it's not just prison time for the former head of the Clark County Jail. This plea deal also forces him to pay restitution for some of the groups he's accused of stealing from. So we'll hear more details on that coming up tonight at 5:30. Also, keep in mind in this case, Jamie Knoll's wife and daughter both face charges of theft and tax evasion. So a lot of potential trouble for the entire family. Those two have still pleaded not guilty to their charges.
Such a massive case that's gained so much attention, and not just in Clark County, but really the entire state of Indiana.
It's gained attention statewide, certainly.
All right, Jenny Runovich reporting this evening. Thank you so much.
Today, Newfields announced its new president and CEO.
Lamont Booker will officially start in October. Booker most recently worked in Chicago as the chief financial officer of the Field Museum. Newfields, which includes the Indianapolis Museum of Art, has been searching for a new CEO after Colette Pierce Burnett left suddenly in November.
All right, it's about 4:10 on your Monday afternoon. Let's check traffic.
Absolutely. 13 News at 4 is your home for that. And we actually have an incident right now. This is Cloverdale, in Cloverdale, East I-70. There's a semi-truck that's on fire. We have seen flames, and as you can see, it is now pushing traffic to one lane, and other semi-trucks, other traffic is getting through on that one lane. But earlier, we saw much more smoke and flames coming out. We also have a check of I-70 West Here is a look at Cumberland Road. Things moving in both directions. We'll keep an eye on traffic for you here at 4.